everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we are here for another severe weather breakdown. So let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the SPC outlook for today. We have three marginal risks of severe weather. One is over here in the mid-Atlantic, one is down here in Florida and Georgia, and one is down here in the desert Southwest. So let's go and break down the threats that these bring. Now, starting off with the tornado threat for today, we do have a 2% risk of a tornado here up in the Delmarva region with Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia, so look out for that. You do have a chance to see a tornado, specifically anytime from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. tonight. That's one of the main tornadic potentials coming through. Wind threat, we do have 5% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. One is down here with Phoenix and Tucson, one's down here in Florida and southern Georgia, and then one is here in the mid-Atlantic, like I said earlier. So, yeah, look out for that. You do have a 5% chance to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher if you're in the brown regions. Hail threat for today, we do have two areas that have a 5% chance to see hail of 1 inch or larger today. One is down here in the Florida, Georgia region with Jacksonville, Orlando, and probably the very western edge of Melbourne there. And then one is down here with Phoenix, Tucson, and even stretches all the way out to Los Crooks, I think I'm pronouncing that right. So look out for that. Window destruction meter for today. We are actually at a low risk for the first time ever for window destruction. So that's not a no risk, so don't think that there's no chance of you getting your window shattered, but we are at a low risk, so it's very unlikely today. But if you get a severe thunderstorm warning, make sure you get away from windows because the severe thunderstorms today could cause wind gusts, hail, and tornadoes. So we do have to have somewhat of a risk, but it's not a very high risk. So still look out for that. Moving on for tomorrow's SPC outlook, we already have 3 more marginal risk of severe weather. Tornado threat, would you look at that? We already have a 2% risk of a tornado tomorrow, and this includes New York City and a few other cities, but New York being the big one. So definitely look out for that. 28 million people tomorrow have a 2% chance to see a tornado. This is, of course, up here in the New England region, so look out for that. Wind threat, we do have 5% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher tomorrow already, so look out for that. One's down here in Texas and New Mexico, one is here in the Carolinas, and one is once again in the New England region, so look out for that. Hail threat for tomorrow, we already have a 5% risk of hail of 1 inch or larger as well. This does only include Fort Stockton, Texas, but also the western edge of Midland there, so look out for that tomorrow. You could see some hail. Moving all the way into Thursday here, we do not have any marginal risks as of right now, but we do have a general thunderstorm risk, so somewhere in here you can expect a marginal risk, most likely tomorrow, or on Thursday rather, so look out for that if you're in the light green. And I would like to point out that Hurricane Lee, by this point, is going to ramp up in speed and will probably affect the coast here of the Carolinas on Thursday, so I honestly would not be surprised if they issue a very, very small marginal risk literally just across the coast here, because Hurricane Lee might bring some small impacts to that region, but nothing major yet, so don't worry. I'm not saying that Hurricane Lee is going to head straight for these places and everybody's going to die. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's a possibility to see some high wind gusts and high waves, so look out for that. National Hurricane Center, speaking of Hurricane Lee, we have a disturbance here that is actually probably the most concerning out of all 3 of these things right now. Even though 2 of these are hurricanes, the disturbance that hasn't even formed yet is probably the most concerning, because it has an 80% chance to form the next 7 days and a 20% chance to form the next 48 hours. And guys, this could very easily go up towards the Delmarva, New England region, which is kind of the area that's expected to have some impacts from Hurricane Lee. So if we get a double hurricane, that would not be good for this region. Now, I guess I should have worded that better. I don't think these are going to turn into a double hurricane. I'm just saying like 2 hurricanes hitting at a similar time. There's almost a 0% chance that these meet paths at the same time and collide together, so it's probably not going to happen, but I'm saying that within the span of just a few weeks, the same area could potentially see 2 hurricanes, which wouldn't be great. Hurricane Lee is expected to go really up, only to affect like Maine, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, areas like that, and this disturbance might go up there, but it also might go towards the mid-Atlantic region, so we don't know yet. Hurricane Margot here it is a Category 1 hurricane right now, expected to turn into a Cat 2, but it is just a fish storm that's not going to hurt anybody. Eastern Pacific, we have a disturbance here that has a 60% chance to form the next 7 days and a 40% chance to form the next 48 hours. And if we move on to the Central Pacific, this could go just south of Hawaii or even hit Hawaii. So Hawaii, you need to be looking out. This thing could definitely form. It could definitely head your way. So you guys need to be on high alert right now looking at this thing. If you want to know how to track this thing, my recommendation is search up National Hurricane Center in your search engine, and it'll give you pretty good the latest updated information. So yeah, if you want to know more, go ahead and search that up in your search engine. Climate Prediction Center. We do have two areas that are likely to see above average temperatures from the 18th to the 22nd here. One of them is down here in the desert southwest, as well as southern Texas, or I guess kind of just New Mexico and Texas, not really the desert southwest. And then one is here in the upper western Midwest here. So anywhere in between that as well is going to see very above average temperatures. You're going to get a late start to fall. You guys are probably tired of the heat by now, because pretty much all these areas in the red and the orange have had an absolutely brutal summer, but unfortunately it's looking like it's going to continue for just a little bit longer. I don't know what to tell you. Desert Southwest, actually, California, Arizona, and Nevada, you're likely to see below average temperatures from the 18th to the 22nd, so that's probably nice. But other than that, not much to talk about, nothing crazy. Precipitation outlook, we do have an area where we're expecting below average precipitation here that extends all the way from the deep south up into the Carolinas, the Virginias, and all the way up into the upper eastern Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and even the Northeast. So look out for that. Below average precipitation is expected. But what you really need to be looking out for is up here. If you are in the Northeast region here, specifically the New England region, you have a high chance to see above average precipitation, and this is because of Hurricane Lee. And this actually gives us a pretty good idea of where Hurricane Lee might impact. So up here in northeastern Maine, or really just all of eastern Maine here, you have the highest chance to see an impact from Hurricane Lee. This light green band, you have a decent chance to see it, and the very, very light green band, you have a small chance to see it. So anywhere in that region, look out, because above average precipitation could lead to flash flooding. So moving on to the 8 to 14 day outlooks here, 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, the heat dome does not crash. In fact, the two heat domes collide and turn into one here and are going to cause very above average temperatures here from the 20th to the 26th for much of the central U.S. here, but also going up into the Northeast. So Northeast, upper Midwest, southern plains, the south central U.S., the deep south, Texas, New Mexico even, all of these regions are likely to see above average temperatures. That's a 60 to 70% chance to see that in the red, and a 50 to 60% chance to see that in the orange. So look out, it is going to be a doozy. Summer is not ending just yet, so probably won't see any heat relief from that until about October, honestly. I'm sorry to tell you guys that, but it's not going to happen. Above average precipitation is likely here from the 20th to the 26th for much of the upper Midwest here, the upper western Midwest, I guess, as well as the central plains, so look out for that. Carolinas, above average precipitation is expected, and then a little area of below average precipitation here is expected from the deep south up into the Northeast, so look out for that. Excessive rainfall outlook, we do have a slight risk of flash flooding today. That's a 15% risk here in New Mexico as well as Arizona. And the yellow, look out, you could see some flash flooding today. That does include Santa Fe, and guys, it might as well include Albuquerque. I'm kind of surprised why they didn't just fill this all in, because you guys are going to see a lot of rainfall today as well. So look out in those regions for some above average rainfall that could lead to flash flooding. Tomorrow, we already have two slight risks of flash flooding. One is up here in the New England region, as well as the Northeast down almost into the Mid-Atlantic and the Delmarva region. So look out for that. You have 15% chance to see flash flooding tomorrow, like I mentioned. And then down here in Texas, we also have a slight risk, as well as going into New Mexico tomorrow. So look out for that. Above average rainfall could lead to flash flooding. Going all the way into Thursday here, we already have another slight risk here for Texas and Oklahoma. So look out for that. Once again, a 15% chance of flash flooding. Going into Friday, we do just have have a marginal risk here, but still, that's a 5% risk of flash flooding all the way down from Texas up into Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, and New Mexico. So look out for that. Going all the way into Saturday, we already have a slight risk of flash flooding here, so look out for that. Primarily, this is for eastern Maine because this is where Hurricane Lee is expected to make landfall on this day here, kind of in the Sunday morning area. So look out. Above average rainfall could lead to flash flooding with Hurricane Lee. This will almost certainly get a moderate risk of flash flooding at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if it got a high risk, but I'm not guaranteeing it either. But just look out, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Watches, warnings, and advisories here for the first time in what feels like forever, and virtually is forever, at least 4 months, I'd say. We have frost advisories in effect here for the upper Midwest. This includes parts of northwestern Wisconsin as well as northeastern Minnesota here. So, below average temperatures expected to reach as low as 34 degrees Fahrenheit. That could lead to frozen plants as well as potentially even some wintry mix, kind of snowy, rainy conditions. So look out for that in this region. I'd honestly be excited if I'm in this region because, it's a frost advisory and it's been like the worst summer ever. But, yeah, it's going to get cold, so I'm not sure if that's any better, honestly, now that I think about it. Down here in Florida, we do have some thunderstorm action going on here that's causing severe thunderstorm warnings, special marine warnings, and even some flash flood warnings here, specifically in the panhandle of Florida for the most part, so look out for that. Air qualities and alerts are in effect for parts of Texas here, so look out for that, specifically like the Austin, San Antonio region, and then over here in Houston, Galveston as well. Flood watches in effect for parts of the Northeast today as they are expected to see a lot of rain, so look out for that. But I guess here in the mid-Atlantic we're seeing some severe storms as well, but other than that, not much to talk on as of right now. Finally, the last thing for today, we're finally done, is the path for Hurricane Lee here, so let's go ahead and refresh this up. Come on, load up. Okay, so here we have Hurricane Lee. It is currently a Category 3 hurricane with 115-mile-per-hour winds. By the time this goes up, it'll probably be a Category 3 hurricane with about the same, actually. Okay, so I thought there might be some change in wind gusts, but apparently not. Lesser Antilles, you might have seen some light showers and thunderstorm activity from Hurricane Lee here, but not as much as we were expecting for you guys. This is expected to kind of ride up here through the ocean and then potentially bring some rain to Bermuda, but not too much. Maybe some high winds, high waves, so I'd definitely be looking out if I'm in Bermuda. But like, even if this thing hits you guys, it'll most likely be like a Cat 1 by the time it reaches you, and it's not expected to hit you like the eye is, and so I wouldn't be too concerned, but it is going to be a strong thunderstorm that you need to look out for if you're in this region, so look out. Moving up here into the northeast, it is expected to make landfall here near Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Maine especially as well. That's where the eye is currently expected to make landfall at. We do have some kind of hurricane or tropical storm statements in effect, rather. It's talking about Hurricane Lee here, so look out for that. If you're in one of those, be sure to take precautions that are necessary for the expectance of a tropical storm, because by the time it reaches you guys, it is expected to still have 50-mile-an-hour winds at least, but I'm honestly guessing that it's going to be more of like a Category 1 situation, maybe 70 to 75-mile-per-hour winds, so look out for that for sure. Also, if you're along the coast here for states in the Northeast, you also have a decent chance of seeing some heavy rain and high winds from this, so look out. This thing is coming, so yeah, look out for that. That's about it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.